Hi, Academy Answers. Welcome to the podcast. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening in. And as usual, it is always so powerful to be here. I have another exciting podcast for you today because you know what? When you ask a question, when you make a comment, when you type me an email, when you leave a message for me, it's not only helping you, it helps me tremendously. It helps me to do the research. It helped me to put what I know into perspective, because I'm not coming to you from a guru standpoint, a learned standpoint. I'm coming to you from a learning standpoint. I believe that learning is a way of life for me. I make it a way of life. So I just don't say I know and then I try to teach. I constantly improve myself. I pay mentors. I follow virtual mentors. I connect with people who have done greater stuff than I have done. I read, I study, I listen, I watch, I observe, I take lessons. I enroll in programs all the time so I can be better. And so I can share that with my audience too, because no one knows everything. So I don't think I'll ever know enough. I'll die learning. And as I learn, I teach. And as you ask me, it stimulates me to go deeper. So it is really empowering and encouraging when you ask your questions. And I'm learning with you. You're helping me also to put things into perspective, to refine my thoughts. And I appreciate that. I am eternally grateful for that. My audience is not, people love to call them my list, my fans. I don't have fans because I'm not talking. I notice many of the influencers and people who do this type of stuff, they have thousands of comments and there's nothing in their system to respond, not even in a general way. So they leave what they have to leave and they go, and they're leveraging that comment and those reviews, yet still they never reach back out. They build followings of thousands and thousands of people and they disappear, and they never have the courtesy of saying, hey, I'm not feeling well, hey, I'm working on a project, hey, I'll come back to you next week, hey, I'm not doing this for a while, hey. It's just selfish. And I don't come from that perspective. I'm not talking at you, I'm talking to you. I am having a dialogue, a conversation with you. And if you leave me a feedback, I am going to answer it. I'm going to get back to you. I will call you on the phone. You can fly in and sit with me like many people have done. And I am here for you. There's nothing for sale here. I am just doing this. I'm a businessman. I'll always have things for sale. I do coaching programs, but that is not the main focus, because if I help people as an entrepreneur, I can usually figure out the revenue part one way or the other. My first goal is to serve. My first goal is to reach and impact thousands, if not millions of lives. And if I can do that, everything else will be secondary and everything else will be taken care of. This question today is from one of my followers on Instagram, Loan Motivator Car. I think I have several Instagram accounts, but my main Instagram account is Loan Motivator Car. And the question is, I have goals. I have a vision for my life. I know what I need to do, but I can't stay disciplined. Give me some pointers on how to stay disciplined. And that gets most of us. Most of us are struggling with discipline. And there's one reason why most of us struggle with discipline. I'll tell you in a little, but I'll also give you 3 pointers that's gonna get you to overcome that one reason. It doesn't matter what the discipline is in, whether it is in overcoming a bad habit, whether it is in executing on your daily goals, whether they're health goals, relationship goals, business goals, life goals, spiritual goals. But it is the thing that, even though it's cliche, but it is the thing why people struggle with discipline. They procrastinate, they don't follow through, they don't persevere. And I'll tell you first what you can do so you can get to implementing this one thing that will take care of the entire discipline problem for you, an issue for you. It's not an event though. I'll warn you, it is not an event. A lot of times we see successful people and we see successful things, and we only are measuring, or we only are looking at that particular point in time, or we're looking at their results today, but we don't see the process. And in everything that is great, there's a process that went in and there's a process that's going on. Because if there's no ongoing process, the sustainability is very fragile and vulnerable. So what I'm sharing with you is not an event, it's a process. And the more you understand that, then the better you'll be able to benefit from that. Well, the first point of discipline is that whatever you are trying to discipline yourself in, it is a clinical thing. The brain has to be overcome because the brain is optimized for ease. Overcome in a way, I mean that you have to be using your brain as an ally instead of working against your brain. What most of us do is we overestimate willpower. So that's what we do. We say, oh, next week I'm going to do that. Next week I'm going to do that. But the brain is not optimized to do that next week. As one writer say, the best judge of what you will do is what you are doing now, because that's what you're conditioned to do. What happened is that what they call neurological pathways are formed in the brain that keeps us doing the things that we're doing, that put things on automaticity, that automate our life, that make us drive, that make us walk, that make us talk, that make us respond a certain way, that make us use a language, that make us eat a certain way, that makes us want to eat a certain time. All those stuff are programmed in our brain in a hardwired type of way. So that means there are pathway neurons that are shaped to bring us back to the habits that we have. Because everything that you are pursuing that you do all the time is a habit. So those brain waves and neurological pathways are designed to keep you in a certain way. So the first step you have to do is you have to understand your patterns. Your patterns are not just outerly patterns, they are inner patterns that are formed in your brain. Physically formed in your brains from cells and neurological pathways. Physically formed in your brain. Not just mental stuff, not just outward stuff that you think. They're physically there and they're impacting your life. So you have to understand what these patterns are. Once you understand that, okay, when I wake up in the mornings, I usually jump out of bed, I go to the bathroom, I sit in the bathroom and I bring my phone with me and I start to scroll through social media. Before you know it, I'm an hour in, and then I start to rush. I don't eat well, I don't drink any water, I don't stretch, I don't exercise, and this is my pattern. I do this every day, most days without fail. Now, is that what I want to do, or is that what I'm supposed to be doing? Are these activities that map to my goals, to the outcomes, to the results that I say that I want? First question. If they're not, now you got to change them. How do you change them? You get yourself into challenges, 30 days, 60 day, 90-day challenges that's going to disrupt those patterns in a real way. Not saying, I'm going to stop doing this. Get in a sheet of paper and say, this is the replacement habit every morning. In the mornings when I wake up, these are my 5 things that I do first, no matter what. If you fall off, if you miss a morning, you got to get back on it. You have to hold yourself accountable. That's the first thing. Identify your patterns, decide the replacement patterns, and find a challenge that you're going to sign yourself up to by getting accountability partners or being accountable to yourself on paper and deciding that I'm going to get challenges in my life to break these patterns. You have to break them in the brain. You cannot depend on willpower to say, I'm going to do it next week, and I'm going to do it tomorrow morning, and I'm going to do it on the 15th. No. Real plan that maps out every day and that has the predictions in there, or the provisions for the time when you can't do it. So you, on a Tuesday, I have to leave I don't come home, I work overnight and I'm not there until 2, so it doesn't happen on Tuesday. And whatever happens, you accommodate for those, and you have the full blueprint. First things first, go. The next step that you have to take on to, I'm giving you 3. The next step for your discipline is that you have to absolutely bet on yourself. So, in other words, you have to stop the chips in your favor. You have to decide that, okay, I can do this. And in order to do this, these are the resources that I need. Okay, so I'm giving you practical. I don't like to give you this broad thing. I like to give you practical things that you do. So you need your alarm clock. Maybe you need to put the water, because you don't want to go downstairs to the kitchen to go for the water in the fridge. Maybe you need to have your bottle beside your bed. So you have to optimize your entire environment to support what you say you're going to do to make it easier for yourself. Don't set a challenge and not put the tools and the elements of the things in place that's going to make you do it. It is the roughest and the toughest way to do anything. Because you don't have the tools, you're making it harder, and you already are in a hard activity, and now you're adding more things to it that's going to make it more difficult, and that's going to make you more likely to stop. So you have to optimize your environment to take on a new path that you say you're going to take on. So if your running shoes need to be at your bedside, if your gym clothes need to be taken out at night, if your phone need to be in the other room, if your book need to be opened up and your computer need to be turned on and go and sleep on this program, if the music need to come on at such point in time, or the motivational tape need to be queued up overnight, whatever it is that you need to do to make it easier for yourself. Do not depend on sudden will. Do not make it harder for yourself. Always find a way to make it easier. Don't push your willpower so much. Optimize your environment and your life to make it easier for you to do what you say you're going to do. Don't block a time to do it when you know your child is going to wake up and disturb you and he can't get to do it. Be realistic about what are the elements and the slack variables that you're working with, so you can know what you're doing and you can do it right. Don't plan to do it with a poor plan. Set the right plan to do it. Always set the right plan. Improve the plan. Set a better plan. Do it well. Have a better plan to do it all the time. Don't set a plan that doesn't work. You must set a plan that works. Otherwise, you are not going to do it. You're going to cop out of it. You're going to mess it up. Second thing. Now we're on to the third thing. The third thing that you need to do to make sure that your discipline is right is that you have to expose yourself to like-minded information. You have to surround yourself with like-minded people, one way or the other, physically or virtually. So if you know that the people around you like to watch TV and like to make noise and like to call you about stuff, well, you know what? You gotta either put your phone on silence, turn off your phone, and get out of the reach and the environment of the people who are distracting you. So that this point is about getting rid of, weeding out the distractions in your world. You need to not only weed it out, you also need to fill it with empowering stuff. So if you're not watching TV between 7 and 8, what are you going to do? Don't sit there say, or not have a plan, or sit there say, I'm not watching TV. Fill the spot. Instead of watching TV, I'm going to read this book. I have this book reading. It will take me 2 months. Every evening I come, I read 10 pages. Then I do this. Then I spend this time with the family. Then I help the child to do the homework. Then I do X and I do Y. Fill those spots with things that are opposite from what's distracting you. Those 3 things will help you to be a better disciplined person. So first you need to identify your patterns, see what you're doing, then you need to replace those by hacking your mind, moving and shifting and re-stretching the elasticity of the neurons in your brain by taking on challenges. And secondly, thirdly, you need to get rid of the distractions. Optimize your environment. Take away what's not working, put in what's working, and optimize your environment to make it work better. And all of that will be easier to do. All of that falls under the umbrella, not so much of discipline. Discipline is secondary. What the primary thing that you need is an unflinching, unprejudiced, unequivocal commitment to getting the results you say you want. If you're committed, you will do whatever it takes. What people want shows up in a conversation. What people are committed to do shows up in their actions. It is about how committed you are. I admire your level of commitment because you have decided that, look, I need this thing and I'm not disciplined enough. So it shows that you are committed to the point that you are recognizing that I'm not getting this thing done, and I'm not pointing fingers or finding excuses. I am looking around to find why is it that I am not exercising the discipline that I need. So you have to power up that commitment, 10x the commitment, want it more. And you want it more by being around more people who want it and exposing yourself as little as you can and as much as you can to the things that you say you want, life that you want. So if there's a car, go to the car lot, see it, touch it, test drive it. If it's a house, go somewhere where you can see the house. If it's vacation, do a little of it so you can be exposed to it, so you'll be more motivated. But cementing, power up your commitment to what you say you want. If you're committed enough, then discipline become a non-issue. When you are committed, discipline become a non-issue because you will do whatever it takes. Commitment overrides the lack of discipline. So go on out there, nail down your goals, change the patterns by getting some challenges in, optimize your environment, and surround yourself, get rid of the distractions, surround yourself with the right people, whether virtually or physically. You'll find them online, get into groups, and once and for all, decide that you will 10x your commitment, and that will solve it all. Be committed to the thing you say you want. Have a great day, guys. Always a pleasure. Thank you.